Hello and welcome to Designer Discussions with Jason, Miriam, and Maria. Today we are talking about who we are, the faces behind the mic. Designer Discussions Reintroduction. Welcome to Designer Discussions Podcast with
Miriam,
Maria,
and Jason. Tune in each week where we discuss marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals. All right, so this episode is to reintroduce everybody to who we are, because if you've been listening to us for some years now, you know we did an introduction into who we are, which was over 100 episodes ago, which is hard to say now. That was about 2.5 years ago. So we wanted to do this episode just to reintroduce who we are to any new listeners and to also get you up to date on where we are as a team here with the designer discussions. Okay, so since I'm actually talking now, I'll start. So if you remember, my episode was episode 4, and I had talked about marketing 101 and how I got into marketing. So just a re-intro to anybody that has not been listening. My background is actually in architecture. I got into marketing because I used to teach at LSU, and I ended up teaching a professional practice class where we had a lot of marketing in that class. And so I started to apply that to our architecture firm. What happened is one of the designers here in the Dallas area reached out to me and said, "What are you doing?" And so I told her what all we was what we did for our own firm. So I started to implement a lot of those strategies for her. A year later, she started to get more traction. And what happened, one of her colleagues reached out to her and said, "What are you doing?" She introduced her to me and then helped her out, had success, and then we started to get more referrals. So right around 2016, went back to the partners, let them know about all this. And so that was the impetus for the marketing agency. And that was in 2016. So that's how I got into marketing. So how we got into the podcast, that happened around the coronavirus time. If you remember the app called Clubhouse, Maria had a Clubhouse room. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was actually called Designer Discussions, or was it called something else?
it was just designer discussions.
Okay. So Maria actually had a Clubhouse room and she worked with Miriam in the past. And so she had her on to talk about some things. And then Miriam reached out to me and said, "You need to come on and did talk about marketing." So I came on and talked, and then Maria said, "Oh, that was good. You ought to come back." And so everything happened from there. We end up all joining up and having a Clubhouse room. And a year later, as Clubhouse began to die out because everything was opening up again, we started to hear from a few of the members that were in the room and said we ought to start a podcast, because at the time, you cannot record a Clubhouse room. So you can only be on live. And once the world opened up again, we didn't have as many people in the room. And so that's how we had started the podcast. So that was the impetus of what that is. And where I am now, I have the architecture firm still, have the marketing agency still. I would say the only thing that has happened within the last few years, I've become wiser with the time, more selective on the clients we work with. And when we actually work with clients on the marketing side in remodeling design, it's actually entertaining to me, because a lot of the hassles or frustrations that the designers go through, we go through on the architecture side. So I'm able to have another perspective on the design side, actually working with other designers and remodelers on the marketing side. So that's just a little update on me and where I am now. But I'm gonna hand it over to Miriam.
sorry, I probably cut you off, but it's like before you hand it back to me, you need to say something personal. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Jason, I think we both should just lament about how Americans don't have enough geography experience to be able to talk to Miriam. Just go ahead and record it. Just go ahead and record it. Just go ahead and
It's recording.
Okay.
Okay.
So as Americans, we have learned through our podcast and working with Miriam that we do not know enough about European geography, and that Miriam has been kind enough to let us call her, say that she's been from Sweden accidentally for years, even though she is from Switzerland and that she is Swiss. Jason, you should totally talk about how you learn that you work well with women or something like that. Because just after meeting Jennifer, was it at KBiz? I was like, oh my God, Jason will tolerate so much heckling from a female if needed. Like he can survive
That
a
is true.
hen party if needed, you know? And I do find that to be one of the endearing characteristics of the trio.
Well, that is true, and that is true. And for all of you all here that do not know who Jennifer is, so she works with me. I actually taught her in architecture school too, so that was interesting enough. So working with women has been an aspect for a few decades now. So I've become, and I actually have two daughters, so that helps out as well. Now we'll hand it off to Miriam to reintroduce herself.
Okay. So everybody now knows that I'm from Switzerland. Okay. That is not a secret. And there is Switzerland and Sweden, and they're two different countries. I have never been to Sweden. And what I like to say is when people see me, it's like, I am obviously not Swedish because I am not tall and I'm not blonde, you know. So anyway, there's that. But so, yes, to my background, I did grow up and go to school in Switzerland, and I worked there for a good while before I moved to the US about 23 years ago now, which, you know, I guess it is my home. Now I can't say I'm visiting. It's been a long time. But when I moved here, and my background was I'm a linguist. I was a translator. And then I moved over into PR. So I've been in PR for many, many years by now. And when I moved to the States, I ended up working for a Kohler company. So I still live in Wisconsin, which is where Kohler company is based. And I worked there for almost a decade and a half, and I led their PR department for mostly specifically for the kitchen and bath division. So that's where my connection with the home design, building products industry comes from. And when I left there, which is probably 8 years ago, I didn't really know what exactly to do, but it just so happened that opportunities presented itself to me to do consulting on the PR side. So I started doing that, and with my industry background and my industry and media connections too, it just naturally happened that I stayed within the home design building product space almost exclusively, I would say. And kitchen and bath is just that's the sweet spot because I know how that works, right? So in these last 7 years, it's like I call myself like I'm like a boutique PR firm, and I work with companies in this space almost exclusively. Then the other thing that I have a lot of interior designer friends, and when I left Kohler, one of them came to me and she said, "Miriam, you should come up with a solution to help interior designers get PR that's affordable and easy to do, you know." Because as everybody knows, hiring a publicist, a PR consultant, it's pretty pricey. And it can often be outside of what's within the budget for interior designers, even smaller interior design firms. So what I did is I set up a PR membership for interior designers. And Maria was one of my founding members. That's how we met, actually. And so that was going on. And then Jason, also, we connected. I always say we met online. You know?
LinkedIn. It was through
Yes.
LinkedIn.
And so the three of us already were informally a team long before we had any kind of established business relationship. Then my PR membership morphed into designer discussions because with all the consulting I was doing, it's just I didn't have the bandwidth to dedicate to really growing the membership. And I also realized that it's a big ask of anybody to focus on PR almost exclusively, and that it's really more beneficial for everybody if the material that is taught is more broad and includes digital marketing, social media, some branding, some business, and with the three of us, we really cover all of those areas of expertise. So it just was like a natural progression to to I don't know, have the podcast, and then that morphed into the Designer Discussions Academy, which is our membership program. So it all has has happened pretty much organically, and we were never, trying to force anything, or the goal was never to make a lot of money. It's really just because we were having fun doing it, and it's nice to have a team. Especially, I work mostly for myself, so I love having the two of you being my team. So what I've learned, yeah, it's probably what I just said, especially from for my area of expertise on the PR side. I know how important it is, but I think it's extremely important to tie it into your business and marketing efforts strategically so it makes sense and you don't just do it for the vanity factor, which that is something that can happen. And I think what we have created creates that balance that a business needs. And I think one of our like unique one of the unique things that we bring to the table is that we help people understand the bigger picture. And that's, I really enjoy that. It's like so gratifying to see when lights go off in people's minds, or when they try something and it actually works just like we had said it would, So it's really rewarding to be able to help people and show them that marketing and PR is not rocket science. Yeah, so that's for me. Like on the personal side, being from Europe, I am I'm an American soccer mom, but that's due to my European background. And funny enough, my first job after college, I worked for FIFA, the International Soccer Federation, and I have three sons that all play soccer. And this is my last year. My twins are seniors, so I'll be doing a lot of soccer this year, yet for sure, as they're preparing to move on to college. But yes, I'm the Swiss American soccer mom. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm an interior designer and I've been in the design field for 20 plus years. I have a degree from the University of Texas. So I came into design from a traditional standpoint where I wasn't really taking business classes. I didn't have the boots on the ground business experience that a lot of people do when they go from being in business or working for someone in business and then getting interior design training. And so I have a strong desire to learn about things. And that's one of my characteristics that I can't hide. I love to learn about something new and I like to really research it, get into it, and then find what's best about it and share it with people. So having a podcast has been relatively easy for me. And I also have really enjoyed finding people who are really good at what they do that will also approach what do you need to know about business for interior design or kitchen and bath remodeling businesses, really anything in the building industry from a fearless standpoint, right? Our industry is plagued with people who like to feed you fear. Oh no, this is going to steal your work. This is going to steal your business. If you don't do this enough, a lot of those conversations I see through, right? I understand that they have to sell you the fear first before they can sell you the solution, literally sell it to you for money. And so I just kind of pulled away from some of the design community that was participating in those types of things, right? And I'm a big time tech forward person, and I am not afraid of technology. I can see right through it and tell you where it's going to work great for your business, where you're going to love it, and also where it's just superfluous and you shouldn't be worried about it. Now, is that what everybody is used to hearing? No, but it's benefited me a lot from a thought leadership perspective and allowed me to create CEUs and other type of educational content around that stuff. So, and I really, really love talking about how to integrate technology into business and how to make things easier, right? So that's who I am. That's my tier as the trio here on Designer Discussions. And I'm also a person who needs to learn, and I need to ask questions. So I need to ask Miriam, what do I need to do to be able to do this thing, right? And when do you find someone that you can quickly and easily ask, should I be running Facebook ads, right? And they give you an honest opinion, and they tell you, don't run ads if, or yes, it's time for you to run ads. And you don't have to spend a ton of money to get those questions answered. So one of the things that's missing from our Clubhouse experience is that we used to have people in an audience that would just ask question, ask question, ask question, and give us their firsthand experience about what they have been through. And one of the things that we're wanting to push forward and start doing over this next year, and with the podcast, is finding more of those people, having them come interact with us, talk to us about what it is that they're doing, what they're implementing, what they have problems with, and then try to help them see what they can be doing better. And in turn, having the people who are listening to the podcast also learn from it too. Because, we can be siloed in this business. We can also have like areas where we need more improvement. And what we're wanting to do is create those tools for you. We have the podcast level of free content that is going to keep you up to date on everything. We also have hands-on workshop type opportunities through our academy. And then we have other done-for-you services as well. So one crazy wild tip about me, I'm kind of the lunatic out of the three of us. I'm the one who's probably not going to be as professional as the other two. And, they put up with me, they tolerate me, and they're willing to let me drag them on a tangent, which I've done many times. And I, as long as it's new and fresh and fun, I find I really enjoy it. And Miriam and Jason have also enjoyed it as well. So we're really lucky to have you guys here with us whenever you are listening to us on the podcast. But we do want to interact with you more. And that is something that we're hoping to have more of in the future.
Okay, that's it for today about the faces behind the mic. We hope to see you all back here in 2 weeks for Designer Discussions. Your business is unique and your marketing should be too. Discover how to personalize your approach for SEO, PR, and beyond to attract more of the clients you love to work with. In our Academy membership, with us Designer Discussions podcast hosts as your personal coaches, we show you how to customize your marketing. With weekly live sessions, an exclusive community, practical resources, and expert guidance, we're here to simplify your marketing and boost your business. Sign up at designerdiscussions.com or follow the link in the show notes.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.